Have you ever played a video game without sound? Chances are you haven't, and for good reason as well. Sound has been in video games since Pong was the hottest game on the market, and has stuck around to this day. Try imagining your favorite game without any sound, period. No sound effects, no music. Imagine playing God of War, and every time you hit someone in the face, nothing happened. No sound. It would be like karate chopping a board, and it gets cut in half, but there's no sound. It would be like it was already broken. So chances are that you won't see the game the same way, despite the visual differences. But why is that? This is a question I'm here to answer for you. Through the course of this video, you'll find out why video games need sound and how it enhances a game's quality. My name is Jotep, and I hope you're ready for this. Let's start off with one of the main reasons why games need sound. Aspiring developers, take note. Immersion. In order to hook a player into your game, they need to be immersed in the world of the game and its story. Imagine for a minute Call of Duty without sound. The game would A. Lose immersion, therefore removing the player's interest in the game. B. Decline in quality due to the lack of sound work. And C. Be unplayable due to lack of audio cues. I'll elaborate more on that later. Immersion is necessary if you want to keep interest in your game. One of my favorite platforming games is Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii, take that as you will. And not because I want to stand out or be quirky, but because I like to enjoy the story of a game before examining gameplay, which is usually illustrated by my game reviews. If you've watched them, you'll notice I spend more time on story standpoints than gameplay. This is because a lot of the games I'm interested in have me immersed into the world and the story of the game, and this is largely because of the sound and music. Music can also immerse gamers, as it can convey emotion through no words. Take example Memories of Mother from God of War PS4. The song has little words, yet it's incredibly moving to me. The music alone is enough to make me sad, and I think all games created to convey emotion should have the same impact. So yeah, the first role sound has to play in games is immersion. As I mentioned before, sound plays a large part in conveying emotion. When you're looking at a game's story, I expect to feel some degree of emotion. When the characters are sad, I should be sad too. When they're angry, I should have a proper reaction to it. This is where sound comes in. When I say sound, I don't necessarily include voice acting. Many AAA game companies have created extremely successful games without using voice acting, such as Final Fantasy VII, The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros. The list goes on and on. When creating a cutscene, music is what should sell the scene, as it's different from a movie. Movies don't necessarily need music constantly, however the story is slightly different when looking at it from a gaming perspective. Music is a massive part of today's gaming, and without it, I wouldn't have a third of my Spotify playlist. If the cutscene is meant to build tension, it should have the music necessary for it. If a character is meant to be intimidating, they should have a theme that illustrates that. For example, let's look at Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, the game I mentioned before, and his theme, One Winged Angel. His theme is very straightforward, and shows me that Sephiroth is one of great power and that he shouldn't be messed with. Seeing as he is the game's final boss, that would be appropriate for him to have. Now for his second example, let's look at Kratos' theme, God of War. This theme is perfect for him, as it can change tone quite easily and really sells the idea that even his own son is intimidated by him. Overall, a perfect theme for the character. So when I'm looking at a game, and I hear the music, I should be feeling emotion. If I don't feel emotion, I don't really feel anything when I'm playing a game. So, yeah. Sound can also be a massive factor when it comes to gameplay in video games. Audio cues in first-person shooter games are one of the most important factors in the game, and without them the games are nearly unplayable. The same can be said for fighting games, as ultimate moves usually have an audio cue before the cinematic plays, giving the opposing player a split second to react. I'm going to take a page from Scruffy's book by adding in the factor of horror games sound by looking at Five Nights at Freddy's. There are certain audio cues you need to listen for when playing a game like that, such as the music box from Five Nights 2. Paying attention to what it could mean, the difference between winning and losing. When playing a game like Five Nights at Freddy's, you're likely in a dark, closed-off space, unable to move. Space is normally quiet, with the exception of this being the fan, which is intended to distract you. Looking back at Five Nights 2, there are audio cues there to help you out while you're playing, such as a small ambience whenever the enemy is in front of the hall at your office. So, audio cues play a massive role when you're playing a game, because if you don't know what's coming and when it's coming, you won't be able to avoid it, and it ruins the experience by making the game far too difficult. I hope this has helped you all realize that games wouldn't be anywhere without the addition of a soundtrack, or sound effects in general. This is why it's important that we get quality soundtracks and overall quality games. So I please ask that you don't rush developers to get games on shelves. If you want quality, it takes time, which is why, when I noticed the drop of my videos' quality, I decided to quit daily uploads, and they weren't the way for me to go, because my videos, I want them to be quality and I want people to enjoy them, and I want people to be able to get something out of them. So if that means stopping daily uploads, then that's what I'm gonna do. Anyways, that's enough of me ranting. This video is pretty much over. Once again, my name is Jotep, and I'll see you all in the next video.